Paka, Pasya, Etan, Samavetam, Kurun, Iti, Bhishmadrona Pramukata, Sarve Samsa Mahishitam, Uvachapata Pashitam, Samavetam Gurumiti, Bhishmadrona Pramukata, Sarve Samsa Mahishitam, Uvachapata Pashitam, Samavetam Gurumiti, Bhishmadrona Pramukata, Sarve Samsa Mahishitam, Uvachapata Pasaitam, Samavetam Kurumiti. Bhishma, grandfather. Bhishma, grandfather. Okay. Drona, the teacher Drona. Pramukata, in front of. Sarvesam, all. Cha, also. Mahishitam, chiefs of the world. Uvacha, say. Pata, or son of Pata. Pasya, just behold. Etam, all of them. Samaritam, assemble. Kurum, the members of the Kuru dynasty. Iti, dash. Translation Papa Praise Divine Grace, King. In the presence of Bhishmadrona and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Pata, all the Kurus assembled herein. As the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Hrishikesha in this connection indicates that he knew everything. And the word Partha, or the son of Kunti, or Partha, is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Partha, the sister of his own father Vasudeva, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Arjuna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Huh?
Now, what did Krishna mean?
Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Partha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in a friendly joking. Omagana Timilanda Sia Gyana Jana Sarakaya Sakshurum Mitamina Tasmai Shri Gurudama Shri Chaitanya Madhistam Sarvitamina Buddhale Swayam Bhagavananda Sopanandam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Bhagavanam Shri Guru Vaishnam Shri Upasagaratam Saharatam Sadevam Savadutam Savatam Prajanam Satyam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Hare Krishna Padam Shri Radha Shri Radha Hare Krishna Karna Sindhu Yamavana Gopishta Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Bhakta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vishwari Pushuran Sutadevi Pranam Hari Kir Vanchakapata Dasa Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Father, all the Kurus assembled here. So Krishna is, Krishna has just driven. This is just before the Battle of Kurukshetra was to take place, observing the armies. And there are so many situations whereby, ascertaining, Krishna was trying to, figure out, not figuring out actually, but Krishna knew what was in Arjuna's mind. And so when Arjuna had instructed Krishna to, push or drive the chariot in the front of the battlefield or in the middle of the battlefield so that he could observe those who are going to fight against him. And this is a point whereby Krishna has driven the chariot in front of all the armies, actually the Kurus who are now on the other side assembled to fight Arjuna were there standing, and this is what actually Krishna is telling him, just behold Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Just look at this, everybody now, Dronacharya, Bhishma, all the Kurus who are, on the other side were ready to fight in this war. They were ready to fight Arjuna. And that's how, this is playing about. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you see, the narrative here is how Krishna is also so merciful and how Krishna can act with his devotees and how he is also trying to encourage, Arjuna to get into this war, because as what we are seeing here, Krishna or Arjuna was not ready to fight against the Kurus, and he was so his mind, we see here the name is Iskcon being mentioned as Krishna as the master of the senses. Krishna is one who has controlled senses. But we as individuals or living entities, we don't have control of our senses. Actually, they are not perfect. We have 4 defects, we have we commit mistakes normally, every time, now and then. We are always, at fault, our senses, they are always. We are illusion. So many times we don't, interpret things as they are supposed to be. Like, we can see the sun, but the sun looks like a very small globe. And yet from us, from our perspective, from our senses, from our seeing, the sun is such a small planet. But it is said that the sun is so big, it's bigger than the earth itself. So our senses are not perfect. And then we have the propensity of cheating and being cheated. Every time you see people coming up with, so many ideas about, either self-realization, or so many religions have come here that they just want to cheat people. And we see people going for this religion or religions that are not, truthful, that, they teach people not the proper way, or they are not actually teaching the path of devotional service, because this is the end, or this is the ultimate goal of the living entities, to engage ourselves in devotional service. So any religion that teaches something else, basically most of these religions, they teach about, karma kanda, fruitive activities. You kind of, dealing with Krishna or God in a business kind of manner, you give this and then I take this. So this is the situation. But when we kind of get engaged ourselves in devotional service, then only can we assume or get our position as servants of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, because this is what Krishna wants us to engage ourselves. Krishna wants us to do. He's saying, surrender unto me and I'll give you protection. So by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of God, then we can engage ourselves in devotional service, and then we can get into our real Dharma, which is Sanatana Dharma, which is the eternal religion of the souls. Since once we forget our truthful position as the servants of the Supreme Personality of God, then we end up trying to serve our senses. And this is the point that is, kind of taking place here, that Krishna and Arjuna at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna is kind of getting confused as to what his duty is. And Krishna is pushing him so that he can engage himself in what is his activities, because even Arjuna, as being a Kshatriya, he was bound to fight. His activities, his occupational duty is to fight. And if he does not fight, then, Krishna will be telling him that, then you will be, cast away. They will, either you will look like somebody who is, was afraid of fighting, and you will just be looked like a person who was a Kshatriya who is afraid of fighting or engaging in a war, is kind of a condemned man. So Arjuna was either going to be a condemned man or going to be joked as somebody who was afraid of getting involved in this war. But on the other side also, you see the Kurus, they were all his relatives. They are all kind of related in a familial kind of relationship. His Bhishma is mentioned here, was his grandfather, who was, Arjuna and Bhishma. They had a very loving relationship, just like any family can have. We love our grandfathers, and Dronacharya, who was his, teacher of spiritual, not spiritual, but his instructor in the art of martial, in the art of fighting. So he was not also on the other side, and it's not according to the Vedic culture for a student, a disciple, to fight against his spiritual master. So all these things were, put in front of Arjuna, and Arjuna was, kind of perplexed. We read further as we go. Arjuna was perplexed, and Krishna here, we see that he's, Krishna never expected such things from son of, but the mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by Lord by the Lord in a friendly joking. Like, Krishna had already, Krishna means, is also in each and every living entity's soul. So he knows what each and every living entity is thinking. And here we see here, he already knew, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead and one who has control over the senses, he knew that Arjuna was kind of, wanting not to fight, but still he was, jokingly and trying to push him so that he can engage himself in this war. But at this point, it's just a matter of Krishna and Arjuna waiting for the right moment to start fighting. Hare Krishna. Trandrashaman Baba Gita. We look up